We all know it's organized globally but held locally, and in our time zone in Bang, we know because of Ehsan some unduly factors, we are having it on another day. So welcome guys. So the topic of my discussion today is integrate Power BI with Power App and Power Automate. So I'll be going through the whole thing. So what I'm trying to discover within this topic is that how we can leverage the power of different utilities within the Power Platform, and what best solution, how we can produce an end-to-end solution for the end users. Just to give my background, myself Prince, I'm the data analyst and regulatory reporting Asia lead for ING Bank Singapore Asia. Basically, we are consistent of almost 90 applications, 70 plus applications within the tribe across Asia, across regulatory platforms in Asia. We are mainly the technology used is Power BI and MSBI technologies with the vast range of Microsoft different tools and techniques used across. As a person, I love to play outdoor sports like cricket, squash. When I'm representing in Bangladesh, people at least can understand cricket. But if I do it in some other places, people are trying to find what is that sport is all about. Yeah, so cricket, and as a person, I love traveling. Apparently everything is virtual these days, so we can't do anything, so but at least we can have these conversations, or at least can exchange the cultures across. So let's coming back to the topic, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to see how we're integrating the Power BI with Power Apps to have one place solution for all the tasks. Leverage Power Automate to reduce the task on Power BI services and automate operational processes. As you can see from a previous session also, that how Power Automate has become such a powerful tool to do a lot of automations across the board. And when it comes with when you combine it with Power BI, you can take the so-called task to another levels. So let's start. So what we're going to do, we're going to learn the capabilities of Power App and Power and how the integration with Power BI can complete the end-to-end solutions. That's how we're going to make the flow of this whole session. What we're going to do, so what are the key considerations while you are building Power Apps via Power BI? So individual Power Apps, it's a different story, but when you do it with Power Apps, Power BI, it's a different story altogether. So there are some considerations that we need to keep in touch. Update and inserts only happens to table, cannot happen to views as data sources, but that can also be overcome with some other technique. But for this demo and for this session, we are not going to go in that much deep and details. What we're going to do, we're going to show you the simple static way of starting point for integrating Power BI with Power Apps, just to give you a background, just to make sure that we are at a beginner intermediate level where we can do things on our own. And then the second consideration that we always need to make sure that tables with primary key only gets updated. Design the Power App from Power BI as it helps with instant refreshes of the reports without refreshing it manually every time around. Fourth one, that is the most important one, the storage mode of the Power BI dataset has to be in the direct query mode. It cannot be in any other mode, because if it's in another mode, cached mode, then it's not it's not gonna work properly. Okay, it cannot work. The Power Apps cannot work, as to make it as simple. So this is something I've built a small dashboard for you guys to see. So it's a power. So what kind of problem we are trying to solve is that, for example, you're coming from a financial sector or banking sector where you have regulatory reporting that is needs to be done every day, and it has to be very fast. It's a very time bound kind of an activity. So what happens generally, sometimes the exchange rate gets changed, or exchange rate has different scenario, or exchange rate is entered wrongly by operational people. Then to make a change, and usually what happens, regulatory reporting is done in so-called uh, in a local currencies. So what happens? So if your exchange rate is wrong, then the local currency amount is also gonna get having some issues across. So to make it easier to give one solution, because if they go and change in the source system, then it takes a lot of time to flow and all this stuff to your system, and then refreshing report, and you might miss the timelines. To make it easier for them, what you guys can do, we can give and give this power app to them to make their changes as per the need basis. In case they have if the auto refreshed amount is not the same amount that has to that has changed over the time from the time they are doing the reporting, they can always make a quick change from here and can get the report submitted on time. That is the tapping point as of today. So let's go to a demo. uh, Okay, so if you see, we're gonna make some. Okay, just see something. Okay, do you see this report out there, guys? Let me know if you guys cannot see the screen. Okay, uh, so if
Okay.
you guys can, if you see the screen. For example, someone comes and says, okay, no, yeah, USD 0.5 is too low. I think the rate is wrongly keyed in. So what I can do, I can go to the record USD floating, go and find USD floating here, go edit the report, make it point 0.7 or make it 0.8 just to distinguish, and just put a submit button. See, all the numbers are getting refreshed now. All the tables are getting refreshed. See, it auto got refreshed 0.8, made the changes all together. All calculations goes ahead and make it work. So see how speedingly, how quickly it can turn around the things for the users without having access to the database or without having access to those things to make those changes. So imagine the way we guys can work it, make it work to get these things done. Now I'm coming back. uh, Now we're going to create the similar kind of an app to show how quickly we can create even an app within the Power BI for these smaller things. Okay, I am going to build an app from scratch. So I'm targeting an audience where I'm targeting Power BI audiences, because generally what happens to the database developers or the SQL developers or the report developers or those dashboard developers, that we do not do a lot of coding within the Power App. So that is the reason I'm trying to build an app in from a scratch. I could have done I could have created an auto app just putting from an app studio, but I want to build so that people can do some hands-on labs on their own and can work on this. And it's mainly not tapping the .NET developers also or such. I'm tapping more on Power BI developers, SQL developers, where they don't have so much of a app development knowledge, and but still can develop all these things very easily. So just go ahead, get the Power App control over here. So if you can see this, give me a second. So the best part is that it guides you on each and every step how you want to do it. So for example, when you want to do exchange rates change, what we're gonna say, I'm gonna use ID, I'm gonna see CCY name, I'm gonna use rate, I'm gonna use rate type, I'm gonna use rate. Okay, so these are the columns that I want to use as part of the Power App. So I could have used choose app that and then choose whatever I have created before, but I don't want to, as I want to create a new one. I'm going to click a new one. Sorry guys, going to take us a little bit seconds to come up. So now you can see within some minutes we are able to get this whole app done. So you can imagine how quickly we can do all these things. Okay, I'll stop it for now. I'm going to skip it. So it created some gallery. I'm not going to use that screen. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna insert a new screen. That would be a list. Okay, I'm gonna remove the screen, delete. So if you see this Power BI integration, that is something that is integrating this app to that Power BI report. That's how this is the linkage between these two parts, and this is what we're gonna use it, the library of refresh, to get this thing done. So I'm gonna make this name as a selection screen. Guys, mind my spelling. Sometimes just a quick hands. Selection screen. I'm gonna change the title as select currency. Okay, so that is done. I'm gonna create a data source. I'm gonna create a data source to a database. The one that I already have. I've created a connection. Uh, I'm gonna make it on title and subtitle. Sorry. So it's asking you to choose a table. I'll just put exchange rates here, connect. I'm going to edit the field that I would like. Give me a second. So see, this exchange rate has come up. Now I'm going to say I'll create another screen. Okay, that would be a scrollable screen. I'm gonna remove the canvas. I don't need the canvas. I don't need anything. I just need a title. This will display the record. Display record. Okay. I'm gonna, one second. I'm gonna insert the form, a display form. Okay, I'm gonna connect to the existing exchange that we already have it. Gonna make some, edit the fields to get the fields. I just need the currency name, the rate type, and the rate. Okay. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to tell the form where to get the data from. So item, you're going to say browse gallery, the one that we created on the previous screen. Selected value that you want to select. So see, you got the rates already here. You can always fancy it with all the so-called borders and colors and advanced functions, but for now I'm not going to make any changes. What I'm going to make, I'm going to add certain buttons to it. I'm going to add edit to make an update to the record. I'm going to add a so-called a back filter. Okay, I'm going to use this left one. Okay, so once I have these two, Now we need to program it to go back. So if you see, if I put an action out here, I will say navigate, it will automatically tell me which screen to navigate to. So you can imagine Power Apps is making so life easy for someone like me who doesn't know a lot of app development or do not do a lot of app development, or at least have not done it before creating these so-called complex apps in Power Apps. But that's how it's make it easy for the end users also to create these smaller apps. Display screen. So that's done. So once that is done, I'm gonna add an to edit a screen. So I'm gonna add insert new screen, another scrollable one. I don't need canvas. Okay, so I don't need canvas. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna add another form. That would be an edit form this time around, so that at least we can edit the records. What we can do, we can say get the same exchange rate. I'm gonna do the same thing here, edit the fields. What fields I want to add, I want to know the ID this time around, I want to know the CCY name, I want to know the rate type, and then I will update add. So what I can do with this also, I can force it to not update the CCY name and rate type with some settings, but for now I'm not doing it, just to get the things working faster. I'm gonna make it an item here. Same thing, browse gallery dot one dot selected. So again got game. So I can see, and I can update as insert update record. Update record. I will add a button here to submit it. I can say submit. So on click on select, we want to submit form. So it again will auto intelligence saying which form to submit. With this, you need to make sure that we put the Power BI integration.refresh to make it so that at least the refresh can happen on the reports very easily. So what we can do now, we got this one, and now we can say on this success, please navigate to display screen, so that you can see what record has been updated. That is done. We have navigated back. Now what we can do, okay, we haven't coded this one, so let's code this one. We're going to say you on this action navigate to the display screen. Done. So easily you are now able to display out there. On this new record, what we need to do, we need to say that create a new form, so that at least you can use the same whatever you have created. New form, form 1, and then you can say navigate to screen 2. So say done. So now your app is ready to be run. You can test it and display. Okay, fine. I want to change INR fixed. I'm gonna edit. Okay, so we did not code this one, so we need to code now this one. Actions on navigate to screen 2. Done. So now again you can go here, run your app. Another time we'll try INR fixed 0.6. it should be 0.4 something. So see, it got changed. So how it's working. So once you have made with the app, and once you say, okay, and once you say save once you save the app, so I will say demo underscore bd and save it. So time you save it, it will say the app is already getting updated, so it's gonna take the app on its own. So the integration has worked properly. Another part, if someone doesn't want to build these apps or something, they can always go create a new app, get your SQL connection. So this time Power App itself is intelligence, knows what kind of data source you are giving to it, so what kind of stuff you want to do it on that one. Connect and just see how quickly it creates the app on its own. We took 10 minutes to build it. It doesn't even take 10 minutes to build it also. So if you see, it's already there. So I'll just show you how quickly it has built the app. See, all done. All the three things are done. Detail screen, edit screen. So everything is there on its own. So you can imagine how quickly it has done it on its own. So we'll test the app that we just created. So we'll tell that HGD1 is not the correct rate. Floating should be 0.8. So I'll make it to 0.8. I'll submit. It has come to 0.8 already. It has also reached to 0.8. So imagine how quickly you can do all these things, all the power integrations and all those things with the Power Apps, and making it much BI. So currently what I was trying to do within the whole thing is that I was trying to create a alert on these so-called gauges and on the card so that I can see a full integration between Power BI, Power App and the Power Automate. But I could not do it on this one because there were some issues out there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna see how we can use the now Power Automate in Power BI. So what does Power Automate means? It's a service that helps you get automated workflows between your favorite apps and services to synchronize files, get notification, collect data, and lot more than that. I think you guys get if you just take an example of Power BI, it only has one trigger point, 4 tasks that can be done. But with all these small things, you just imagine they have created almost 222 templates for you guys to use it to make it different scenarios and different use cases. That is out of the box, that is already available in Power Automate. So you can imagine with just these small things they can create so much. So you can imagine how big the Power Automate would be. On a trigger point, as of now out of the box is only one, but you can always have an API call via the button actions and all those stuffs to make it easier, to make it more for those stuffs. And then you have a Power BI REST API, and I think that's actually more than what I can cover within a session. Power BI REST API is another level. They have thousands of things that you can do automations on with those Power REST API that is also out of the box from Microsoft. So, but for now, that is not the topic of discussion. What we're gonna we're gonna stick with Power BI and Power Automate with the out of the box functionalities out here. So first one, if you see there's only one data alert trigger point. What are the tasks? You can add rows to dataset. You can refresh your dataset. You can download the paginated reports. You can download the reports. Now, how you can so this is a simple refresh occurrence. It's a simple recurrence scheduler, the trigger point, and then it just says the refresh data set. So you can just do a small things, just go. So why? Because if we already have from Power BI service already have a database dataset refresh services out here, what would happen in this one? What would be the use case for this one. The best use case is the recurrence frequency. The recurrence frequency from Power BI Premium is far less as compared to the recurrence frequency what are having in your dataset refresh. Uh, Let me see where I have this one. No, trigger a workflow. Okay. I'll just show you how quickly you can do this part within seconds. So just create your flow. We'll create an automated flow. You can make it a demo underscore refresh. Okay, this one skip. So you can see so many. Just give me a second. Where is my flows? Yes. Okay. So I'll just show you this so that it's easier for to do it faster. Give me a second. I'm not able to get that manual trigger recurrence. Okay, so if you see the recurrence part, just give me a second. Sure. So if you see what kind of frequencies you have, you can even have seconds and all this. So and enter customer value also. So you can imagine how quickly you can do all that stuff. But when you do a refresh data set, it's just a simple boring task or just setting a workspace and the dataset name. So you can imagine how quickly a Power Automate can do these tasks for you without having to trouble you from a Power BI service perspective. Now the second part what we're going to learn about here is the okay, this one is a is something what I called is a so-called is it's a well of oceans with all the possible things that you can do. So this is an API call. What it's trying to do here is that yeah, so it's what it's trying, it's taking this the API call. So what will happen, I'll just show you the report. Where is the report? If okay, so on the button click of this, it's refreshing the dataset of its. So on the action, you can just call the web URL, the URL of this the so-called the refresh from so-called your workflow, automate flow, and you can just refresh. So you imagine just on a click of it, you can refresh the data. Why? And so people will ask, why do we need these things? You need this when because for example there's a when you don't want users to give access to users to give your workspace, when you don't want users to take control of your workspace or the datasets or command the dataset, so that's the time you can do all this API thing, and then users doesn't even have to come into picture of doing any of those things, and they can refresh the dataset very easily on the just on a click of a button. So for example they did some process, they want to see the refresh reports, they can just go and click the refresh report and they will get the dataset get refreshed within the Power BI service and get the updated result sets. Second part, you can have a click and make it an email notification. So for example, on a click, you can just ask someone to send an email notification of that report. You can subscribe that report on that notification. Then you can see which user is trying to do it via the access and get all those things. So you can imagine the simple request, simple API things can get you so much of the triggers and so much of the tasks done. Next one is something very interesting. I'm going to show you how we can build a streaming dataset via the Power Automate. It's quite simple. What you can do, you can just go to your datasets, go to your workspace. What we're going to create this time around is a space station dataset that we're going to create. I'm going to create a streaming data set. So what it does, this data set, what we're gonna, and then you can use it for a lot of financial things where when you want to do a lot of exchange rates from Bloomberg's, when you want to do a lot of so-called latest portfolios, then you can do all this streaming data set, and then that can help you refresh the reports very easily and very quickly with the latest data. So what you can do, you can create a new streaming data set via an API call. Make it next. I'm just gonna show you what is that thing is. Desktop 50 nodes. Okay. So this is a simple API. What it does, it just gives you the latitude and the longitude values of the space station, and just show you the success and just give you the message with the success or failure and give you a timestamp. So you can imagine this is a very simple data set that you can get it across. But you can always extend it to a lot of streaming data set that you want to do it. So what you want to do, simple. So now you see we have 4 values. Go create this streaming data set. What the data set name should be, it should be demo underscore BD. What values you're coming, you're getting a latitude, that is number, longitude, that is also number. Then you have got message, that is text. Then you have got date, time, that is also a date time. So once that is done, what you need to tell, keep the historical data. So it tells you that it can read this JSON format, send me in this format, and I'll keep on creating. And once I do this historical data analysis enabled, what it's going to do, if you don't have a premium capacity, it's going to store 200,000 records for that data set, and after 200,000 records, it's going to leave it and make it a new one. So delete the old ones, get the new ones, keep on coming. So every time you're going to hold 200,000 records from starting from the latest record. So what you're going to see, so once you get this thing created, okay, done. So now what we can do, we're going to go to the work streaming data set. Then you can say which occurrence you want the data set to be in. This one is interesting. This is just an HTTP. You just tell get method and just put this JSON record. So once you do that, it's gonna create its own everything later on. So once you got this API, you don't have to fill in anything extra here. Just get this thing done, authentication done, so that at least, because this is an open API that can any account can have an access to it. So once that is done, you do this parse JSON. So this is a step. So that's why I love the so-called our Power Automate developers, because they have done a wonderful job and reduce our effort to do the main job then rather than doing all these things. So you just go there, paste this to the workflow. So telling that, okay, this is a data set that you should see. And then what's going to create, it's going to create a JSON values for you yourself. So you don't have to do it for you. It will do it for you. The automate will do it for you. So what I will do, I will remove this and show you how we can now fill this the stream data set to the Power BI. I'm going to delete it. Okay, I'm going to add a new step. Once I say Power BI, it's going to show you the same 4 tasks that I showed you in the starting. Add rows to dataset, refresh a dataset, export the 5 paginated reports, export the normal Power BI reports. So I'm going to use the add the rows to dataset. So it's going to ask me which workspace you are referring to. I'm referring to my parents workstation. I'm referring to demo underscore BD, the data set that it has to be done. Then it gives you a table name. That's a real-time data. By default, that's the data. You can add a custom table name to it. And now you can use the content to update your latitude. You can update a longitude. You can upload the message. And then timestamp, I say no, the timestamp itself in some other structure, I cannot read that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say I need the current timestamp. UTC now. Okay, so I got that data set. So now your data set is ready. So every recurrence of 2 hours, it will get the data refreshed. So we created certain report for that, just to show you. Okay, so where is my ISS space station view? So you can see the station is moving from here. I've just created the data set to just show you how this can be used. So for see, it's already started coming back again on the same one. So these are the things that you can build a streaming data set so quickly, so easily with all these automations. The last one that I'm not going to take too much time of you. I'm going to just show you the snapshot the subscriptions. You can create subscription where you can add the reports. So while okay, if you haven't gone on for this Feb 2021 updates, then you don't get a full subscription with your reports as attachments. It will only contain first page. We won't have the whole report. But with this, you can get the whole report attached. You can create a reoccurrence. Okay, and then you can export the power. So what happens in this one, it tells you by default the format of PDF, then but you can have your custom value also, ppx and png. You can have another excel also. So for example, it has a big details covering what report level filters you want to put, if you want pages to be renamed, if you want this thing to be renamed and all those things. So you can and then once you configure as per your need basis, you can always go and just send an email which and that can also be having a functions to get a call which uses to be send it across. So having said that, let's get back to my presentation. So I've covered the shared drive and the email. I've covered the alerts. Okay, alerts I'll show you again one more. And okay, so the last part, alert is pending. Let me show you how. So if you go to my space station, go back to the workspaces. So if you see, there's a demo here, there's a data alert where you can set these data alerts here. I'm going to edit a file. Give me a second. Give me my workspace. Yeah. So if you see, you just go here, create. It only occurs. The data alert only happens on the 3 visualizations. Only it happens on card, keep in the gauge. It doesn't work on any other stuff. So once you have the value out here, okay, so you can go manage alerts where you can always add a new alert. Demo underscore BD. So you can say which threshold it will, and it will only work on a refreshed report. It doesn't work on a static report. So it has to refresh a report to alert a trigger. So once you alert the trigger, you can obviously use Power Automate to trigger the additional actions. So I hope I have opened it. Yeah. So once you have a trigger point, so this Power BI thing will come towards you. You can see this data. You can you see which alert, for which alert you want to do it. So I can see any of these alerts that I want to work on, and on that you can send a notification to our teams. You can send a notification on emails. You can send a notification to users to take actions to make it work in the in so-called boundaries. So these are the things that you can do it with the data alerts also. So I just want to show you one small thing, if I'm not taking too much of time, Ehsan, out of someone else's session. Uh, so if you go, yeah, Ehsan, I hope I am not taking someone else's session's times. So if you go here on templates, okay, and search for your Power BI. So see, imagine how many they have it. Endless numbers of across the templates. So they created all these tasks on their own. So you can imagine without a workflow how quickly they can do all these things. So this is something that I was trying to tell you, that these are the stuff that you can do it with these things. So having coming back to the slides, the data alert is also done. And once you are so that's how you can get all the things integrated across with each other and make it a full end-to-end application. I hope the session was nice.